Lustful man will never quench his thirst. A lustful man will always do what lustful men do. They will flatter you, they will chase you, they will say what they need to say in order to get what they want. Lustful men know how to mirror your needs. They will make you feel special. They will act obsessed with you, not because they see you, but because they see an opportunity. Don't mistake obsession for care. Don't mistake attention for love. Lust dresses up as love all the time. It flatters, it rushes, it demands, but it never truly stays. You will feel it in the way he rushes physical intimacy. You will feel it in the lack of emotional connection. You will feel it in the shallowness of your conversations. Does he bother to get to know you as a person, your dreams, goals, aspirations, your dog's name? He doesn't care how your day was. He just wants to know if you're going to come over later. How does he act when you set boundaries, when you say, no, not yet, not tonight, I'm not ready, I don't want to? Check his following. Yes, it matters. No, I'm not here to argue with you. If it looks like girls gone wild in that bitch. Protect yourself. A man that only lusts for your body could never hold space for your heart. I love you.
I think that most men are gay. Those men that are so lustful for women and they jump from woman to woman and they talk so bad about women, them men gotta be gay. You can't convince me they're not. You ever met a man that always have negative things to say about women, or they post on social media all day talking bad about women? It's like, how can you always have something bad to say about women if that's what you like? You clearly like a man, and that's why you always have bad stuff to say about women, right?
Is she going to say the same thing about women? Because very few men actually say they hate women. They just try to hold them accountable for how they treat them. But we have women who literally hate men on TikTok. Does she say the same thing, or does she call it empowerment? The double standards.
Just think about it. Men will get a woman, and a good woman, and will dog her out.
What's a good woman?
Or they will go from woman to woman and do bad things to these women. Like, nothing good. Everything is negative when it comes to a woman. So the only conclusion I can really draw is that you have to be gay. It's no way you love a woman if you act like that.
So, a lot of people...
Lawless, you're right.
A lot of women are speaking specifically, and you know how it is. They all jump on the trend, and that becomes a topic of the day. So a lot of women are speaking specifically about lustful men. And a lot of women are drawing the conclusion that sometimes, often at times, it lends itself to homosexuality. So I'm going to start with the ladies.
The conclusion is
Mimi,
great.
you have been quite quiet today. So I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to get the rest of the ladies, and then we're going to open it up for the fellas, and y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Mimi, what do you think about this?
Here we go.
Well, I'll start with the second video because I do agree with that a lot. That men who speak poorly about women all the time, just never have anything good to say about women, it's a little suspect to me. I have often thought that men who talk like that are possibly a little sweet. Yeah.
Or maybe, just maybe, this is just a maybe. Maybe women like to use the gay slur. They like to call men sassy whenever men say something they don't like. Especially black women to black men. They always call them gay whenever a man says something they don't like. Even if a man just has standards. So for example, if a black man says, I don't like a single mom, I don't like a woman who won't cook for me, oh, you're gay, oh, you're sassy, you want princess treatment? When all he did was state simple standards that he expects from a woman. All he did was state simple preferences. They call him gay.
Like if you never talk good about a woman, you've never had a good relationship with a woman, you avoid women. I mean, it's suspect to me. You don't like us.
What about lustful?
What about lustful men?
What are your thoughts about overly lustful men? The subject of overly lustful.
Well, I mean, I can agree with that a little bit because a lot of times men will what we call love bomb. They will love bomb you, make you feel like you're great and you're the thing they think about all day long, and then 6 months later they're gone. It just, I think there's a huge difference between lust and love, though, for sure. As far as definition is concerned, I think a lot of men are lustful over women. I definitely agree with that. I don't think that there's a whole lot of real true love out there. in general. I think it could probably be both ways, men and women.
Thank you.
I do.
She said it. I was about to say it, but I'm glad she said it. It's on both ends. I agree. It's
think
on
that
both
women
ends.
tend to. I think we tend to actually love the men we're with more often than
That's not
men
true.
when it comes to their women. I mean, because I can agree that I don't agree with cheating. I think that this is 2026. We're not. Let's not talk about
we know what year it is.
And what people do. We live in America, and then we are. We don't necessarily do that kind of stuff here. So I'm not a fan of cheating. I don't think that there's ever any excuse at this stage in the game. So, but a man who is lustful, I think a man that's lustful will cheat on you because he's lusting after you. He's not getting everything that he needs from you if it's just lust, so he's gonna go somewhere else and get it. So lustful men, I think lustful men are lustful all the time with everybody. Love is different than lust.
Jess, Carmen, Tamara.
I mean, I will agree, especially because we live in the times of overly sexualized media and movies. So I could see how the overly lustful thing could be an issue for both men and women, because the way women dress and the women are lustful, the songs, the music videos, the rappers, we see it, the movies, sex is promoted. So I understand.
I agree with the first lady and what she said about lust and how, some men are very lustful, and basically to be weary of those types of men. I agree with the first lady for sure.
I think a lustful man is a weak man, in my opinion. A lustful man is a weak man because they don't exercise any type of weakness, any type of discipline. They don't exercise it. And we talked about a lot in this panel about, the Bible and King David and Samson or whatever. But I mean, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure King David was tempted. Didn't he sleep with Bathsheba? Was that the name? Bathsheba was tempted. She was a married woman and sent out, and he killed out her husband or whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And Samson was also tempted by
Delilah.
Yes. Samson was, thank you. Samson was also tempted by Delilah. Those are weak men, in my opinion. So yes, and lustfulness.
You're speaking about them 10,000 years later. So I mean,
these men that y'all lustfulness is a 7 deadly sins. Lustfulness led to the destruction.
Carmen, are they weak men, or are they just men who need Jesus? Because at the end of the day, we know that men, like we said earlier, they have more urges than we do. They are, they've got to get the dog out, right? So it's like, is that fair to call David and King Solomon weak? Like, I think that's a very strong word when
yes,
they would be weak too.
Because even if you do have that urges, I don't disagree. Men do have urges, but it's the way that you control your urges is what makes you a great man and a great king, because their weakness to fall for these lustful, to fall for their sin, not the women. I'm not criminalizing the women that they fell for, but just the lustfulness, the give in of the sin itself made them weak, because ultimately it led to their downfall. No. You're talking about a man who can't control their urges, then what is that? Then that makes—
I agree with Carmen, man. I think one of the biggest strengths a man can have, and CGA said this before, for those of you know CGA, one of a man's greatest strengths is to be able to control his sexual desires. So let's say you're a man who's really attracted to women with big bums, but she throws herself at you, because it's one thing, okay, you're attracted to a woman with big bums, but the hassle of approaching, then dating, and then that takes a lot. So some men don't do it. But when you get a chance where a woman, the type of woman you want, throws herself at you, the power to control your sexual urges and not try to, especially going raw and things like that, I think that's a powerful thing any man can possess. Few men can get it, but you can definitely learn it.
Makes no difference difference than us and animals. Like, we can't control our urges. I'm not saying that we don't have urges, men and women, but it's what you choose to. You're gonna act on every single urge that you get every single day.
I just think that's a strong. I think that's a strong phrase to say that they're weak men. Like, I can hear you. I can understand if you said they had many weak moments, but to say that they were weak men, that's really like going a little bit above and beyond, in my opinion. Because keep in mind, these men were kings. They were fighting in battles. So you mean to tell me that they were weak? Now, I understand they did have their
downfall came from one weak moment, as you said, being for lust. So yes,
I think words have meanings, and so I think it's very important not to, like, I think, and women do this a lot, right? And sometimes we don't mean to do this. We've all been guilty at some point, but it's just like we have to watch how we speak about men. I mean, it's just. Hearing that really did something to me, because it's just like, at the end of the day, men carry a lot. And we know that stress is made for shoulders, not hips. And so I think we really need to be careful about how we speak about men, even when it comes to if they're still alive or not. It's just a respect thing. And so I get what you're trying to get at, but it's the words that matter.
They're gonna. So what word would you use?
I don't think there is a difference. I think that you are weak because
it was a moment of weakness.
It doesn't matter if it's a moment of weakness. You still chose to give.
Hands out, let the women talk first.
A moment of weakness when Eve.
Hold on. I want to get.
Matter?
I want to get Carmaya. I want to get Carmaya in here.
Oh yeah.
Then Jess, and then the guys can jump in, and we can get it in.
Well, just to respond back to what Carmen was speaking about, the Bible says that a righteous man falls 7 times and gets back up. So there's always been grace in the Bible for men and women. The problem that we're having is that women don't want to give grace
to men,
where grace should be appointed or gifted to the men. But want all the grace in the world whenever it comes to what they have going on and how they respond to things and how they react and how they fall. But as far as what I agree with the first video, how she was talking about lustful men. We want to make sure we stay away from the lustful men. That's normally the ones that they're always talking about, that's always cheating and doing all of this and lying or whatever, is the lustful men. You learn how to pick and choose them the right way. You don't have to worry about being, being in those situations where you're going to cause yourself pain. A lot of these are our own choices, and a lot of times women are just naive and not paying attention to the signs that's there in front of their faces, because they think that they can fix the man. They can do this, they can do that. Oh, I'll love him to death, and he'll change for me. I'm different. For whatever reason, it's always in their mind. But as far as the men tend to, majority men being homosexual or whatever, the second video, I disagree with that. I just think that a lot of things are nuanced, and I believe that women don't really have it all together mentally, like when it comes to how they're trying to say, oh, this person is homosexual, but you can't tell the difference between a man that's going to cheat on you. That doesn't make any sense.
Also, they claim to have gay best friends. You guys notice that women, black women especially, claim to have gay best friends and how they don't hate gay men. But the moment a black man says something they don't like, what's the first thing they call him? Oh, you're sassy. You must gay. You must be down low. You must like men. You hate women. That's the first thing they jump to. You're gay.
You know what I mean? Don't you think that these lustful men tend to go gay because they're over sexualized? A woman can no longer satisfy them because they're so filled with this sin and lust. And
that doesn't make
y'all
them
want to
gay.
say, the monkey on their back is lust. And they're so over sexualized that, maybe they might go. A woman can no longer serve their needs, so they go to a man.
Did they tell
they
you
want to
that?
experience, and they're never going to be fulfilled.
I believe that men can be lustful to a certain extent before it crosses over into hypersexual. Hypersexual is a whole nother level of lust. There's always going to be
hypersexualized, and women too. Women tend to go the other way too, not just men.
Right. It's always going to be lustful desires. It's not just men. Women are very lustful as well, and they're very alluring and seductive, and they know how to get what they want. Men, it's not just the men thing. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like this is just a world that we live in type of thing. Like everybody is, you can fall into that category very quick.
Right. And I think
shout out to Kamaya. And guess what? She's married. I'm not surprised that she can say something positive about men. I mean, I'm surprised, Carmen. Well, she tried to be balanced because she's married too. I think there are only 2 married women on the panel. Tamara is new. I'm not familiar with Tamara, but I know just the feminist. But Carmen and Kamaya usually do speak up for men.
I think that it's important to remember that lust is not only sexual. Like you can lust after things of this world. And that's why it's very important to fast and pray. That's why Jesus did that in the Bible, is because there's so much in this world that is trying to pull us away from God. So I think that's important to remember. And that's why I think the young lady was right earlier who mentioned something about grace. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God. And so that's why we have to be dedicated to building each other up, not tearing each other down. Because at the end of the day, the world is tearing people down enough. Men hear all this stuff out in the world enough. Are we going to be the women who lift them up, or are we going to be the women who tear them down? It's as simple as that.
Correct.
I mean, that sounds good, Tamara. And I absolutely and 100% agree with you. We should, lift each other up. But unfortunately, before you even lift a man up, other women are going to call you a pick-me. Now, they may not say it on this panel. I mean, probably Mimi is going to say it. You see Mimi's face? Because Tamara was just talking. You see Mimi's face? Mimi disagrees. And I can guarantee you when Jess gets her turn to talk, she's going to disagree with Tamara. She's going to disagree with Kamaya. First of all, Jess and Kamaya are always going back and forth. But she's going to disagree. She's just going to go with the whole gay thing. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I can bet $20 for anyone watching right now. I can bet you $20. Jess is going to call men gay. Let's watch.
And we're complaining so much about how the world is right now, how we're viewing everything out there. And a lot of this has to do with that disdain and that resentment that women are holding against men whenever it takes 2 parties. It's not just the men, they're just so lustful. They're this, that, and the third. They're gay, they're that. It's literally like, what is causing them? What is pushing them over the edge? What is pushing them more towards a different aspect instead of bringing them in? Maybe it's the resentment. Maybe it's the grief and all the pain that people want to hold on to instead of just being like, look, let's figure this shit out together as men and women in groups, instead of it just being like, oh, that's just your problem and I'm gonna just figure it out over here. And then next thing you know, you getting smacked up and cheated on, and now you're complaining about a completely different thing, and you were dealing with way less.
I agree, but at some point, grace has to stop, though. At what point does grace stop? Oh.
I want to get Jess in here real quick. Go ahead, Jess, get your thoughts, and then y'all can.
Here we go.
You guys can jump in and.
Get ready.
I won't keep it too long. I'll keep my team brief. But as it relates to the second video, I think Shorty was diabolical just because
I was wrong.
Men drag women through the mud all day, every day. I don't necessarily think that's synonymous with him being gay. I don't.
Damn, just let me down. Shit. I'm surprised because she's a feminist. I definitely expected her to call men gay because that's what they do. The moment a man says what they don't like, they call a man gay. I'm surprised. Let's see. You never know. She may come back around.
As it relates to the first video, she made a great point, especially as it relates to love bombing. I think it's an unfortunate thing that a lot of women deal with this, especially attractive women, is that sometimes you're inexperienced to be had. And it can be hard to decipher who's truly genuine and who's disingenuous because they see this being and they want to experience it, but not necessarily get to know you for real or are truly invested in getting to know who you are. And I'm not a man, but I have heard a lot of men say when they get involved with a woman, most of the time they're not necessarily seeking a relationship. It just kind of slaps them in the face. So already going into that situation, like it's kind of hard maneuvering in that space because you already know what the man wants. So it's kind of hard to determine if he truly wants something serious unless he says that. But even if he says that, it can still be malarkey if he's just trying to just bone you. And I have noticed that a lot of men just want to experience women just to say that they had them, especially attractive women.
I think as far as what you're saying,
I gotta give Grace some. I gotta give Jess some grace. I know, no pun intended. She didn't say nothing negative. I'm surprised. I'm surprised as much as you guys. So I'll give her credit where credit is due. I'm surprised. This is the first time for my entire time of reacting to Jess.
Jess, I can see your point as far as like a lot of times. I mean, you know, men have to be in that right mindset to want to find a wife, you know, and if they don't want to find a wife at that point in their life, then they're going to do what they're going to do. And it's going to be up to women to say yes or no. And I think also like women have to remember or know what they want out of a man so that they can be able to decipher if that man is giving them what they want or what they don't want. So I always tell women, look at Psalms 23, you know, and then insert the man's name where you see it says he, the pronoun he. Does he lead you beside still waters? Does he restore your soul? Does he lead you on the path of righteousness for his name's sake? And the reason why I say that is because we know from what the Bible tells us that marriage should resemble Christ's relationship with the church. Christ died for the church. But a lot of times in this culture that we're living in, people are trying to figure things out by themselves instead of sticking to what works. We know that God's word does not lie. It has not come back void, but people have to choose to trust in God. If you trust in God with your heart and you give him your life,
I like her.
You will see that he puts you on the right path. You don't have to figure out this life by yourself. You don't have to figure out which way you're going to go. And that's the thing is we can talk about opinions all day, but at the end of the day, the Bible is true. That is the book of life. That is where you should be getting your advice. That should be where you're getting your guidance from ultimately.
Tamira, not everyone.
I'll give her. I mean, I like her. This is the first time I think somebody has been on a panel, and everything they're saying, they're relating it to the Bible. Now, I know you guys have heard me say that these women try to use God whenever it benefits them. They use the Bible whenever it benefits them. But for the first time, it sounds genuine from this woman. Maybe because it's the first time I'm seeing her on the panel. You never know. She may be a comedian. I'm just saying. So I'll give a benefit of a doubt. It sounds genuine with the way every point she's relating it to God. So shout out to her.
Granted, I agree with you. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. But I also have to say, not everybody does. So that sometimes the advice that is giving or some of the things that you all are saying is not going to be applicable to people who don't believe in God. So while I agree, we still need to have more practical ways that people can receive the information because not everybody believes in God. And then also too, back to my other point, yes, women should vet men, but also too, a lot of times, a lot of men coerce women.
How?
And they sell you a good game.
How?
But like I said, at the end of the day, it's just an experience to be had. So it can be hard to decipher who's truly genuine and who's just trying to say they had you.
And I hear
How do men coerce women when women have degrees, they're smarter than men, they have a bunch of businesses, they make their own money, they are strong, they're independent, women's intuition, a bunch of accolades, and then a dumb, broke, dusty man coerces you? How, Sway? How does that happen? I disagree. There's no one who can convince me that Jess, with all her degrees and masters and money and businesses and independence and strength, a man can coerce her using game and lie to her and make her fall in love? No way, no way. How, Jose? Hell no. Anyway, I know I'm trying to be funny, but it's the truth. There is no way. You can't claim to be independent and strong and smart with degrees and then at the same time say these men are coercing me. They're selling me a bunch of lies and making me fall in love. Like, no way. Those two can happen. Anyway, shout out to Anton Daniels. Shout out to you guys watching. So let's get to the next video real quick. Lawless, you're right. They love the game. They like, the manipulation and, just being in the streets. But then if it doesn't work out for them, they claim they were coerced, the way Jess was trying to say.